The other day, I saw a video by Sargon called hashtag Feminists for Autism. And it was really interesting because I'm not really entirely sure towards the end of the video if it was a joke or if it was serious. And then I read a comment on one of Mike's videos. Sargon said that it wasn't a joke. It was a tactic, which, to be completely honest, makes me even a little bit more confused than I already was. But towards the end of his video, he was making an allusion, or making a comparison between feminists complaining about the fact that women are not diagnosed as autists as often as men, that there's disparity between the amount of women diagnosed for autism, because I guess there's a male-centered focus, which, I mean, there really is. I think men are more likely to be diagnosed as on the autistic spectrum. I think 5 times more likely, if I know that correctly. I could be wrong there, but I don't think I am. And I guess I could understand why Sargon would mock it, but what I find interesting is towards the end when he was making the illusion that feminists could possibly be suffering from autism, or they could be autistic, you know, which I find to be very interesting in the fact that he made this hashtag to spread awareness, which I think is the joking aspect of called, as I fucking said, Feminists for Autism. Which again, I'm not sure if that's a joke or not. It really confuses the hell out of me. I would like an explanation there, but I probably won't get one. But that's what leads me to make this video, because I started thinking about the fact that I saw the hashtag Feminists for Autism, and people were making jokes about how feminists were autistic and showing examples of feminist autism. I saw another video, and this video was the one that really got me into making this one, by Gary Orsa. And Gary Orsa makes some pretty spot-on videos, but I don't think this video was spot-on, which isn't to say he's a terrible person. It's just I think he was wrong here. And that he showed some video clips of women that he thought were autistic. And through watching these videos, I came to the conclusion that those women were not autistic. If anything, and here's what I think is the real part of this video, the real reason why I'm making this video, if anything, those women were all suffering from cluster B type personality disorders. Now, something that I find funny is me and my friends, my internet friends I guess you can say, have chatted about this subject many times, where we've talked about women, or more if anything, these feminists who are suffering from these different type of personality disorders, which could be the cause of why they're acting the way that they're acting. I know my friend Brother John talks about this a lot on his channel. If you don't know who Brother John is, I'll put a link to his channel in the box below. I think he knows a lot more about this topic than I do, and I love listening to him talk about it, because I think he's spot on. I think when he talks about these feminists and what could possibly be going on, not just with feminists, but social justice warriors and even some people on the internet, and how they're being very histrionic, I think he's spot on. I think, if anything, if there is a personality disorder that's affecting feminists or social justice warriors, it wouldn't be autism. I don't think autism is even remotely close to the actual behavior issues that we see with feminists. I think it would be cluster B type personality disorders. So I'm going to make this video here, and hopefully I can present this case to you, viewer, and convince you otherwise that if we're going to spread awareness, whether it be real or fake, of these women or these individuals dealing with personality disorders, I think we could actually spread awareness of actual cluster B personality disorders, to actually spread awareness of actual mental disorders, which may be the reason why these people are acting the way they are. So let's start. I've got my trusty laptop over here. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'll read out what autism is, and then I'll compare it to cluster B, which is what we see. So the autism spectrum disorder impacts the nervous system. This ranges from the severity of symptoms that can widely vary. Common symptoms include difficulty with communication, difficulty with social interactions, obsessive interests, and repetitive behaviors. Okay, so honestly, I don't really see that in very many feminists, where I could even point out that that's autism. So let's see, I can read what is on the autism spectrum from Google again. The autism spectrum, ASD, and autism are both general terms for a group of complex disorders of brain development. These disorders are characterized in various degrees by difficulty in social interaction, verbal and nonverbal communication, and repetitive behaviors. Now, interestingly enough, again, I don't really see very many feminists having any real difficulty in talking or interacting with people other than in any like vehement, unpleasant way. I know them being obnoxious certainly, but most autistic people aren't obnoxious in the sense that they're boisterous and loud and just unpleasant to be around, so much as, you know, don't seem to understand what's going on, at least from when I've encountered autistic people. No feminist I've even met has even been close to internet in real life, has even been close to having difficulty or having tics or having any problem with autism. It just doesn't seem like that's the case from what I've seen, or even on Tumblr. But I will say, well, we'll get there. We'll get to that part of the video in just a second. When it comes to symptoms, it goes. It requires a medical diagnosis, which you think would be obvious. They can range from severity of symptoms can vary. Common symptoms include. I just fucking read that. I'm sorry. So people may experience inappropriate social interaction, poor eye contact, compulsive behavior, impulsivity, repetitive movements, self-harm, or persistent repetition of words or actions. So I mean, self-harm is a pretty common symptom of a lot of personality disorders. I mean, maybe I could see that in some feminists, absolutely. As far as maybe compulsive behavior, I don't really know what example you would say is compulsive for them. Impulsivity, maybe randomly talking to people and calling them horrible misogynists, I don't know. But again, I don't really see that very much in terms of behavioral, if that really fits feminists well. Developmental, learning disability, or speech delay in a child. I mean, I wouldn't know, I don't know them as children. Cognitive, intense interest in a limited number of things or problem paying attention. I don't know, I don't really think, again, I haven't seen that. Unaware of others' emotions or depression? Absolutely not. No, they seem pretty aware of other people's problems. I mean, specifically women. I mean, they seem to not really care too much about men, but unaware and not caring are two different things. I mean, them not giving a damn is not the same as them not seeing it. So I wouldn't say psychological either. Also common, anxiety, change in voice, sensitivity to sound or tic. I mean, anxiety, again, is pretty common. I can't, say just because you have anxiety that means you're suffering from autism. So, no, I can't say that. I don't really think that autism would be the correct mental disorder to put upon feminists. I honestly don't. So, however, then we get to the kicker. When we talk about what is cluster B personality disorder. Now, this is what I think really could honestly be what is affecting a lot of the feminists that we see, and not just feminists, but even young women in general. I mean, I think I'll be honest, I think a lot of MGTOW who say really bad things about women, or talk about their bad experience with women, I think a lot of them could have dated women who had cluster B personality. I mean, obviously, I don't have any scientific evidence, but that's what I think from what I've heard. And I'll explain why in a second. So when we ask for the definition, what is cluster B personality disorder? Cluster B personality disorders are characterized by dramatic, overly emotional, or unpredictable thinking or behavior. They include antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and narcissistic personality disorder. Right? If we could let's start with histrionic personality disorder because it's on the screen. Behavioral problems they may experience are a preoccupation with physical appearance, seeks to be the center of attention, or talks dramatically. Psychological, considers relationships closer than they are, easily influenced by others, or depression. Also common, inappropriately sexual or provocative behavior or rapid shifts in emotion. So I don't know if that would really affect very many feminists from what I've seen, but certainly I've seen it could be the issues that some people are dealing with when they're talking with some women, or because I know for a fucking fact, histrionic personality disorder affects women a lot more than it does men, and guess who are usually feminists? It's not men. So now we can go to mayoclinic.com and read some more symptoms of these different cluster B personality disorders. So if we start from the top, we have antisocial personality disorder. You have a disregard for other people's needs or feelings. Again, it's not a lack of awareness, it's that you don't care. If we can see that with feminists, they have a disregard certainly for men's feelings on a myriad of issues. For example, top of my head, you're talking about like abortion, even with the suicide rate, the way men feel about that. Again, they're aware, they know they feel that way, they don't care. Persistent lying, stealing, using aliases, or conning others. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the whole lying thing I see a lot happen with feminists, say Anita Sarkeesian and even Zoe Quinn. I can't diagnose them. I don't fucking know them, but again, a common trait I've seen with them. Yes, lying would be one of them. Recurring problems with the law. Nah. A repeated violation of the rights of others. I wouldn't say so. Aggressive, often violent behavior. I would certainly say yeah. In the clips that Gary Orsom provided, definitely you could see a lot of very aggressive behavior in a lot of these women. Hell, even in the one Lyft driver video that was shown a little while ago by Lauren Southern, you could find that young lady was being very aggressive about what? The fucking hula hoop dancer. Yeah, often, yeah, I could say definitely. Again, am I going to diagnose them all as dealing with having antisocial personality disorder? No, but that fits a lot better than them having autism. Impulsive behavior, consistently consistently irresponsible. And come on, guys. I mean, a lack of remorse for behavior, certainly, absolutely. So again, I mean, I'm not a fucking clinical psychologist. I'm not going to diagnose them as having antisocial personality disorder, but these symptoms fit these feminists a lot more than what we read for autism. If we go with borderline personality disorder, impulsive and risky behavior, such as having unsafe sex, gambling, or binge eating. Come on. I mean, we're talking about slut shaming all the time. Talk about how it's not fair, it's victim blaming if you say a woman shouldn't, be drinking alcohol in an unsafe environment. I mean, kind of hit the fucking nail on the head with that symptom right there. Unstable or fragile self-image. Come on. The amount of time, I mean, just call a feminist out on what she believes, what's going to fucking happen? You attack her identity of being a feminist, she's going to flip out. She's not going to be able to logically argue and rationalize and talk to you anymore about it. I've seen it happen many times. That fucking hits the nail on the head there. Unstable and intense relationships. I don't know their relationships. I can't put that on any feminist. Up and down moods, often as a reaction to interpersonal stress. I've seen lots of Tumblr posts about this and even articles. It certainly fits them there. Suicidal behavior or threats of self-injury. Definitely see that shit a lot on Tumblr. Intense fear of being alone or abandoned. I mean, to be fair, I see this in a couple of women, I mean, obviously not the majority, but I mean, and a lot of women on the internet. Yeah, I've seen this shit here. Ongoing feelings of emptiness. Yeah. Frequent intense displays of anger. Yeah, again, from the videos Gary Orsom showed us. Yeah. Stress-related paranoia that comes and goes. I mean, I don't know about that. Again, I don't know them enough, but I mean, actually, I don't know. Who knows? You could say that. The whole rape culture thing could be an example of their stress-related paranoia, being constantly afraid that someone's going to rape them or that someone's going to kind of cause a problem for them. Histrionic personality disorder. We'll go through it again. Constantly seeking attention. I see that shit a lot on fucking Instagram. Excessive emotional or dramatic or sexually provocative to gain attention. Again, on Instagram. You can even find that on Tumblr. Speaks dramatically with strong opinions with few facts or details to back them up. Easily influenced by others. Shallow, rapidly changing emotions. Excessive concern with physical appearance. Thinks relationships with others are closer than they really are. Then you have a narcissistic personality disorder. Belief that you're special and more important than others. Fantasies about power, success, and attractiveness. Failure to recognize others' needs and feelings. And that seems to be pretty consistent in a lot of cluster B personality disorder. Again, a failure to, well, actually that's failure to recognize. Not the same as complete disregarding. So, yeah, I mean, maybe you could put that as similar to autism, but certainly not the same. Exaggeration of achievements or talents. Expectations of constant praise and admiration. Arrogance, unreasonable expectations of favors and advantages, often taking advantage of others. Fucking hit the nail on the head there with feminism right there. I mean, I don't know how you could possibly deny the unreasonable expectations of favors and advantages. I Again, not saying that they're all I mean, they've got some symptoms of narcissism, but again, I can't diagnose them. I'm not a psychologist. Envy of others or belief that others envy you. I could say certainly a lot of feminists are certainly envious of the privileges that they claim men have. So again, that certainly fits this a lot more than I've seen it fit autism. Now here's the thing, man. The point of this video, I'm not sitting here to make this video to insult these feminists by calling them narcissists and borderline and histrionic. The real point here is if we're going to spread awareness, if we're going to talk about the possible mental issues that feminists have, why use fake activism? Why use a joke or even a tactic, as Sargon said, when we can actually talk about the fact that a lot of these women actually do have symptoms and could possibly be affected with one of these cluster B personality disorders? Why not actually say, hey, maybe a lot of you MGTOW haven't met lots of regular women, but you've dated borderlines or you've dated these histrionic women who have affected your perception of the female sex? Why not actually talk about the fact that if there might be a mental issue with some of these feminists, why say autism, something that it really honestly doesn't sound like is affecting these feminists? And even in the article Sargon showed, it just was some feminists, if anything, the woman was being, again, suffering from one of these cluster B personality disorders by complaining about the fact that more men are diagnosed with autism and the focus isn't on her. She's seeking attention from more women to focus on them, even though, I mean, having autism isn't an awesome, great thing. I mean, well, in terms of maybe focusing on one great skill, perhaps, but in terms of socializing people, not at all. So, I mean, if anything, even the article itself, still points to me that this woman wasn't autistic. I mean, she's over here seeking attention for a mental illness, saying that it's a problem that more men are focused on than women are. I mean, again, the attention-seeking behavior doesn't sound like autism. Even these feminists, even with the end of Sargon's video, it still doesn't sound like the best word to use or the best mental, emotional problem with feminists is autism. And I think if we're going to spread awareness for a possible mental issue with some of these young ladies, I think it should be cluster B personality disorders. So I'm not making this video to make fun of these women. I'm not making this video that say they rebut Sargon or Gary Orsom and say these are terrible bad people or to get on the people and making fun of women being autistic. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if we're going to put some focus on possible mental issues, I think it should be cluster B personality. I think those fit the description of feminists that we see a lot more than autism. So with that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. And I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.